Good morning, students. We are doing from a snapshot book the first chapter, The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse, written by William Sarian. The story is narrated by a boy of 9, that is Aram, who tells us that how he and his cousin Murad are crazy about horses. In the early morning, Murad comes and invites him to jump out of the window if he wishes to ride. Now, Aram, he was sleeping. He is all amazed to see his cousin on a white horse and thought that it might be a dream. But then he notices that no, it's not a dream. The cousin was sitting on a white horse and he was amazed. He was amazed to see that how Murad is having a horse as they are the tribe they belong to is poverty stricken and they cannot afford to have a horse. But then he has a desire and a longing to ride a horse, so he goes along with Murad for a ride. He asks Murad that he wishes to ride alone. Let's continue with the line by line explanation of the chapter. I kicked into the muscles of the horse. Once again, it reared and snorted. Now, this was Aram's chance to ride alone. So he sat on the mounted on the horse, and he was all stuck with fear. Why? Because the horse is not ready to move. So Murad gives him direction that you need to kick into the muscles of the horse, and then the horse did rear. That it stood on the rear legs, the hind legs, and it snorted. It again made an explosive sound. Then it began to run. The horse began to run. I didn't know what to do. Instead of running across the field to the irrigation ditch, the horse ran down the road to the vineyard of Dickrin Halban, where it began to leap over vines. Now the horse did began to run, but rather than taking the same path of the dry grass to the irrigation ditch, the horse started running onto the road. And Aram did not know what to do. And in fact, it started heading to the road to the vineyard of Dickrin Halabin. He is one of the farmers, and the horse started leaping over the vine creepers. The horse leaped over 7 vines before I fell. Then it continued running, and the horse started jumping over the vines. And Aram was dismounted from the horse, and the horse continued running. My cousin Murad came running down the road. I'm not worried about you, he shouted. We have got to get that horse. You go this way, I'll go this way. If you come upon him, be kindly, I'll be near. Now Murad comes running to the road. Now he announces to Aram, I'm not worried about you. I know you're going to be fine. But what I'm worried about the horse. We need to get the horse at the quickest because it's all morning and the world is awake by now. So he gives him the direction that you follow so and so route and I'm going to catch this route. And then he instructs Aram that by chance if you get a horse, then you need to be kind to the horse. I continued down the road and my cousin Murad went across the field towards the irrigation ditch. So Aram was searching onto the road and Murad was searching to the irrigation and ditches. It took him half an hour to find the horse and bring him back. So Murad returns with the horse after half an hour. All right, he said, jump on, the whole world is awake now. So Murad instructs Aram to jump on the horse, that is to mount on the horse as the world is woken up by now. It is already morning enough and the light enough that they might be caught. What will we do? I said. Well, he said, we'll either take him back or hide him until tomorrow morning. So Aram wants to know what are they going to do with the horse. And Murad gives an option that we have two options. One, we can take the horse, or the other, we can hide the horse for another morning, the next morning for a ride. He didn't sound worried, and I knew he would hide him and not take him back, not for a while at any rate. So Murad's voice was all calm. He did not sound worried at all. And Aram was sure that he is going to hide the horse and not take him back. Where will we hide him? I said. I know a place, he said. So Aram questions, where are we going to hide the horse? And Murad says that he knows a place where they can safely place the horse or hide the horse. How long ago did you steal this horse? I said. Now Aram wants to know that what period of a time that Murad has this horse or he has stolen this horse. It suddenly dawned on me that he had been taking these early morning rides for some time and had come for me this morning only because he knew how much I longed to ride. Now, Aram suddenly realized that Murad had been taking early morning rides for a certain period of time because he was good at riding, and moreover the horse was not behaving in an unusual manner. The horse did welcome Murad on its back. So it suddenly he realizes that Murad had been taking this morning rides, and Murad came to Aram because he knew that how even Aram desired to ride a horse. Who said anything about stealing a horse? He said. Anyhow, I said, how long ago did you begin riding every morning? So Murad says that, who said that I have stolen the horse? So Murad is not, in fact, answering him, he is putting a question to him. And Aram again repeats the question, but then he changes certain words and he wants to know, he wants Murad to come out with the truth. So he questions him again that how long it has been that he is doing this. Not until this morning, he said, are you telling the truth? I said. So when Aram questions Murad that anyhow I said, how long ago did you begin riding every morning? So when Aram questions Murad that since what period of time you have been riding early morning, taking a ride on this white horse. So Murad answers, not until this morning. So he says, today is the very day, this is the first morning that we started, or I started riding a horse. Are you telling the truth? I asked. I said. So Aram is not convinced with the answer, and he says that, are you speaking a truth or what? Of course not, he said. But if we are found out, that's what you are to say. I don't want both of us to be liars. All you know is that we started riding this morning. So Murad does confess that he is lying. He is definitely lying. This was not the first morning. He had been taking this morning rides for a period of time. But then he instructs Aram that if suppose anybody catches us and the truth is found, then I do not want both of us to be liars. So you have to understand that today is the first day we started with this horse riding. All right, I said. So Aram agrees to things. He walked the horse quietly to the barn of a deserted vineyard, which at once had been the pride of a farmer named Fitavazian. There were some oats and raw alfalfa in the barn. So Murad takes the horse to hide it, and he takes the horse to a barn. Barn means where you store grains. Of a deserted. Deserted means lonely, where there is forsaken vineyard, and this vineyard had been once a pride of a farmer. There were some oats and raw alfalfa. Oats, that is cereal, and alfalfa is a plant which with clover like leaves and bluish flowers grown in warm climate for fodder. So it is actually plants used for feeding animals. So over here they hide this horse. We began walking home. So both of them hid this horse over there in that barn, and then they started walking home together. It wasn't easy, he said, to get the horse to behave so nicely. At first it wanted to run wild, but as I've told you, I have a way with a horse. I can get it to want to do anything I want it to do. Horses understand me. Now Murad explains to Aram that when he started with horse riding, the things did not come easy. The horse started behaving wildly, but then slowly and steadily he took the control of the horse, and he says that I behave very nicely with the horse, and now the horse follows my instructions, and now the horse understands me. How do you do it? I said. I have an understanding with the horse, he said. Yes, but what sort of an understanding? I said. A simple and an honest one, he said. So Aram wants to know that how did you make a horse follow your instructions? And Murad answers that he has an understanding with the horse, And then Aram wants to learn that what sort of an understanding you share within animal. So Murray answers that it's a very simple and a honest one. And what is a simple and honest understanding with any animal is to behave humbly, to behave politely, not to harm animals. So that's the way he had has an understanding with the horse. Well, I said, I wish I knew how to reach an understanding like that with the horse. You're still a small boy, he said. When you get to be 13, you will know how to do it. I went home and ate a hearty breakfast. Now, Aram, who is a small boy of 9, says that I wish even I could reach to this understanding with the horse, because he has a passion to ride one. So, he wants to ride this horse. He does not want to dismount again with the horse when he's sitting on it. So, he says, I wish I know how to create this understanding. And Murray tells him that you are still a small boy, and by the time he reaches 13, he'll learn how to behave with the animals and how to create an understanding with the animal. And then Aram goes home and he enjoys having his breakfast. That afternoon, my uncle Khusro came to our house for coffee. That afternoon, my uncle Khusrov came to our house for coffee and cigarettes. He sat in the parlor, sipping and smoking and remembering the old country. So now Aram is telling that that very day, that afternoon, Uncle Khusrov comes for a coffee and cigarettes. Uncle Khusrov was sitting in a parlor, that is a sitting room. He was enjoying his sipping and smoking, and he was remembering the good old days of his country, of his homeland. Then another visitor arrived, a farmer named John Barrow, an Assyrian who, out of loneliness, had learned to speak Armenian. So another visitor comes. His name is John Barrow. He's a farmer. He's an Assyrian, and because of loneliness, out of loneliness, he was all alone. He had learned to speak the language, that is Armenian. My mother brought the lonely visitor coffee and tobacco and rolled a cigarette and sipped and smoked, and then at last sang sadly. So Aram's mother offers him also with the coffee, and both the gentlemen, that is Uncle Khusrov and Barrow, are enjoying tobacco and a cigarette. And then, after having a sip of the coffee and smoking, he is very sadly announcing, what? My white horse, which was stolen last month, is still gone. I cannot understand it. So, this man, John Barrow, who's a farmer, who says that it has been 1 month that his white horse has been stolen, and he was worried. He can't understand who has stolen or where the horse has gone. My uncle Khusro became very irritated and shouted, It's no harm. What is the loss of the horse? Haven't we all lost the homeland? Now we already know Uncle Khusro is a very short-tempered person, and he is very irritable person. So when John Barrow is telling his pain that his horse is lost, rather than giving him a sympathy, he in fact shouts on him that there's no loss of a horse, and we all have lost our homeland. What is this crying over horse? So when we have lost our homeland, so horse is not anything. It's a small thing that that may be all right for you, a city dweller, to say, John. Barrow said, But what of my surrey? What good is a surrey without a horse? So John Barrow says that for you it might be fine, it might be good because you dwell in a city, you live in a city. But for me, my surrey, that is a carriage driven by wheels. So he says, my carriage is altogether useless. What am I going to do with my surrey without a horse? Pay no attention to it. My uncle Khusro roared, and again he shouts and tries to mum him, saying that pay no attention to your surrey. I walked 10 miles to get here, John Barrow says. So he says that my surrey is useless. Moreover, I have to walk 10 miles to come here. You have legs, my uncle Khusro shouted. So when he's complaining about that Sare is useless and he has to walk 10 miles, so Uncle Khusro shouts on him and says that you have legs, you can walk and come. My left leg pains me, the farmer said. So John Barrow says that he has to walk 10 miles and his left leg pains. Pay no attention to it. My Uncle Khusro wrote. Again, Uncle Khusro, who is an irritable person, he does not hear to his pains or anything, and he shouts that you don't pay attention to your pains. The horse cost me $60, the farmer said. I spit on money, my Uncle Khusro said. So a farmer says, I bought that horse in $60. Uncle Khusro again shouts on him, announcing that he spits on money. He got up and stalked out of the house, slamming the screen door. Now Barrow was very disheartened. He was there to talk his heart. He was there to get sympathy. He was there to get a solution. But what Uncle Khusro was doing, he was making him be quiet about things, not complain about things. So he was very disheartened and he walks off. Stalks out means walked out of the house and slamming the door, getting annoyed and slamming the door. My mother explained. So Aram's mother talked to Uncle Khusro. He has a gentle heart. She said, it is simply that he is homesick and such a large man. So she explains to Uncle Khusro that he is a gentle heart, is a soft-hearted person. Moreover, he is homesick. That is, he is sad because he is away from his home and is missing his family and friends. And he's a large man. He's a big man. Now, big man does not mean big in terms of physical. Big means he's an old man, growing man, old person. So Uncle Khusro should have considered this while talking to him and should have sympathized with him or come out with a solution rather than making him quiet about things. The farmer went away and I ran over to my cousin Murad's house. So farmer went away, that is John Barrow leaves, and Aram, who learns about the white horse, that the white horse belongs to John Barrow and for last 1 month it was stolen. So he runs to Murad to talk about things.